Okay, clase, buen día. Habla el profe Jeff. I just wanted to take a few minutes and give you a little bit of a guide, step-by-step guide through our modules. I'll try and do this every time we switch modules. So this is for module 1, and we'll go through the things in Canvas and the things in our textbook. So starting out in our textbook, you've already been able to complete things in Módulo 0, getting started in the intro discussion. One thing I wanted to point out is that the first step in each module is called Mi Camino por el Módulo. That is not an assignment that is due on that due date. You can see the objectives in that note right here in the middle of the page. It says this is not an assignment to be turned in here at one time. It's a list of things to do for the chapter, so it's like your to-do list. So you can go down here and see the number of items that are that we're going to be working on throughout this module, and you can break those up based on the amount of time we have for the module. Okay, so this is just kind of a pacing guide for you. All right. So as we go through the module, you'll see different things taking place at different times in our module. So the things that will be recurring are things like the Duolingo classroom, the En Casa, En Clase en Casa, the MLS, which is our mini quizzes for each chapter, and then we have a quiz. So those things we'll see in each chapter. So then we will have things like the diario and sometimes a presentación oral and always the conversation. So sorry for these things popping up. So just keep those in mind and keep up with the dates that are listed in the calendar. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is go page by page in the textbook to kind of give you an idea of the best ways to complete each of the activities. So here on our first page we have an En Clase. So since this is an online class, you are responsible to do everything that says En Clase and En Casa. Okay? This first activity on page 1 is what we did in our discussion. So you don't need to worry about doing it here. But this activity in casa with your plan de español is just for you to make your plan on how you'd like to improve based on the goals and objectives for this course. Okay. Our next part is straightforward. This is a repaso. It's en casa and en clase. Now, ideally, this is something that you'll be able to do with someone else. These are points that you should be able to do from our Spanish 1 class. So this is all review. All right. Now, you'll see the points there, and then it gives you where you'll be able to practice it in Capítulo 6. Some of them, like I said, well, most of these you've already done in Spanish 1. So the idea here, if you aren't able to, you don't need to submit recordings. What I would like you to do in this case, whenever you're asked to do a dialogue with someone, is write questions and answers. So write a question that you would ask given the different prompts, and then write how you would answer that question in the text box here. Okay? All right, check out the review of the verb ser and estar. We're just getting back on our bicycle, so to speak, remembering the things that we learned here. It references the chapters in Llaves 1 from Spanish 1 that you can review those with. Okay. Again, these are just fill in the blanks, so fill in the blanks based on the context. Same here. Again, if it asks you to do it with a friend, if you know someone in class and you want to work on it together, again, just put questions and answers in the text box. Okay. All right. The same here. Just keep following the instructions that we find on each actividad. Okay, for your oral presentation, that's completed inside inside our Canvas course. Just going to move this down a little bit so I can access it and show you. Okay, this is done in our discussions forum, and please watch the video on that. Just notice that there are 3 separate dates, and those will be listed here. You'll have one date to submit your recording of the your presentation answering those questions. Then there'll be a separate date for you to record and ask your questions from 5 different people. And then there'll be a separate date for you to answer any questions that are asked of you. Okay? And those are back and forths. All right. Continuing forward, we're going to be again reviewing things we've already seen, so watch the videos, answer questions. Again, if you're asked to do question and answer, make sure and do question and answer. This activity for En Casa 6.8, 6.8, you're just using subjects in the first column, combining with a verb in the second column, and make it match with one of the statements in the third column. It doesn't work straight across. You need to mix and match. Keep in mind that this one here where it says mis amigos de la clase y yo, that's one line, it's not 2 lines. The yo by itself is down here, so this will be the nosotros form, right? Okay, these are our knowledge checkpoints. You'll just click on the instructions. This is muestra lo que sabes, show what you know. Listen to the questions and figure out what it's talking about, matching images. One reminder on all audios in our textbook, it works best if you use Google Chrome. Okay, Firefox also works, but we've had issues with Safari. So you'll need to access them with Google Chrome. That's for the activities in the book as well as the quiz at the end. Okay. Continuing forward, these activities are all straightforward, just doing some review with the reflexive verbs. Watch the video on this so you can get some pointers on it. Okay. Again, straightforward, just filling in the blank. Same type of activity. You're using items in the first column, combined with the verb, and then add the ending on that section. Okay. Same thing, just take your time to make sure and read all of the instructions and directions. They provide help for us in different ways. Watching the videos, here we're learning more about the verb gustar. Again, this is all review, hopefully. So it should be straightforward. If you have any questions, always send me, message me in the inbox in Canvas. Okay. The final section, we're going to be reviewing things on the preterite tense, so we're starting past tense. Okay. Vacaciones. Okay. There's video and explanation on the preterite past tense for times in specific times in the past. Irregular verbs on this page. Again, you'll notice that they're repetition with a lot of structure of different questions, so again, just make sure and do that. Right, on this last activity here, it's just like similar to the very first where we're doing a review. Again, if you're not able to do it with someone, just make sure and write the dialogue, the questions and the answers. And there's our next MLS knowledge checkpoint. Okay, for Diario Uno, remember diarios are done in two stages. You will prepare a rough draft, you'll submit that, you'll receive my feedback, and then you'll turn in the final draft. And the final draft is the grade that I will give you. Please pay attention to the dates that are due in Canvas. The diario is turned in Canvas. Right, so whenever you come to an activity like this, Gramática en Video, these are possible 3Cs activities. So for those of you who may have been through one of our Spanish classes already, Spanish 1 here in Global, you'll know that our 3Cs activities we do at the end of the chapter, or end of the course, so in Module 6 and 7. If you do it now, that just means less work later on. And when you submit this, just make a note in your 3Cs portfolio in Module 6 or 7 that you did the activity in this chapter, and I'll be able to go in and check it out. Okay, here are some other ideas for 3Cs. Again, these are for later on in, sorry about that. Again, my apologies for that. Something popped up while we were recording. So again, these are for modules 6 and 7, but different ideas. You do not have to do them, all of these. These are optional, and you do not have to do them only for one chapter. You can mix and match. One note that this autoevaluación, these activities are not accepted as part of 3Cs. There is a section in Module 8 that asks you to participate in the autoevaluación. Okay, then we have the vocabulary, and finally the quiz. All right, so make sure and ask any questions if you've got them. Please let me know. Remember, the best thing to do is communicate. So send me messages in Canvas. If we need to set up Zoom meetings, I'm more than happy to schedule those. ¿Está bien? Okay.